quick, before I even get into all of the housekeeping, if you see me like looking off to the side repeatedly, these damn birds that I've been feeding for a while, still no gifts, by the way, still no gifts, but they have messed up the feeder. And this fat dove, I love these doves but it's just like sitting on top of everything. So if you see me, it's just trying to see which direction it falls. So when this is all over, I can go get the feeder and continue feeding these greedy ass birds.
They woke up and chose violence.
I just adore that you invited that violence to your home. You're like, I'm going to put a bird feeder on my patio terrace thing, and then just invited the angry ass birds. Birds, I have feelings about birds, but I won't.
I mean, everyone knows
that's happening here. Like, there's a whole bird soap opera. There's a bird on who gets to eat first. It is a whole, like, if I told you, listen, I'm not going to get into it because I could literally talk about this for like an hour straight, and it would be like ridiculous.
Bird chat.
Everyone knows birds are spies for the bourgeoisie.
They are. I feel like every bit of pop culture, everything in our lives has showed us that birds have devious intentions.
Yeah.
Audra is playing angry birds IRL.
Right? Look, doves are dumb, but guess what? They just took over the whole bird food thing. The dove comes and then it has like a partner. They're the power couple, and then they're like eat all the bird, and then the other birds have to. If the grown cardinal comes, like the doves are like, "Ooh, my bad," and then they leave. There's like little brown birds that are like there last.
As the bird turns.
Doves, the original himbos, stupid and strong.
Right? So sorry that I just literally spent minutes talking about birds. But before we get started, I wanted to thank all of you who are here in the live stream and all of you watching on the replay. It is greatly appreciated. If possible, if you want to pull up the live chat, so that way, just in case there are things that we don't read out loud, or you can just be taking part of the conversation as it moves along. And feel free to comment as you're going along, just like, even if it's in the regular comments, you're fine. I read them.
Comments
I
are
don't
welcome.
respond to all of them, but I read them. So never feel weird if you're like, I did a comment after comment after comment. It's fine. It's fine.
That's my favorite. I'm going to second that for my channel too. Like comments, especially like as you're watching multiple comments, I kind of love it because I can see this person's brain, like their thought process as they go. I'm just like, yes, I love it.
And then thank you to all of the Patreon members and channel members on any and all of the channels that are here. You are greatly appreciated, sir. You're going to get in trouble. You better get in your spot. You already went out and you already pooped and you brushed your teeth. So we are done. So sorry. And I think that might be
He's
it.
not used to the schedule change, which thank you all for being here on a different day and different time.
Yes, and then
that was my fault.
No
fault at all.
No, you cannot sit here. No.
I will thank the mods while Audra is wrestling Bo. Thank you to our mods for being here. And I have Audra has Mia's information in the description box. I'll be posting it kind of as we go, but if any of the mods want to drop Mia's channel link or Instagram link, it's there because everybody should be following on all social medias.
Thank you. You're gonna make me blush again.
I just love muted Audra with Bo because I don't have to hear what Audra is saying, just to be like, that is some intense love discipline happening right now. And thank you to Mia for being here. If anybody
thank you for having me.
Mia's virtual vanity. Mia you are such an insightful, creative person here on this platform and on Instagram and on Twitter. Right? You're on Twitter. Yes. Yeah.
I save your videos.
I
save yours in I want, because I can't get enough in just like one video because you don't do like marathon long ass videos like my goofy ass. So I just like get a bunch of them in a row and then I just like watch I have because there's certain playlists I have hidden. So I have like a couple of playlists so I make them for certain creators that I like to do that with. And so I have one with like just you. So it's just like, all right, let me just put this in the Mia. And then when I'm ready, I just like binge it.
Thank you. I feel like I'm burning up. I feel like you can even see on camera that I'm all red.
But if y'all have been around, like I feel like we've had a couple of different live streams inspired by videos that you've done, Mia. Like most recently, the beauty industry is not dead, but consistently we've had like, so there's an insightfulness that I always
Thank
enjoy
you.
watching.
Thank you.
And Mia reached out to us and was like, can we do a live chat? And I'm like, yes. And I wanted to say again, the invite stands. Like, I will have you back at any time. So
anytime you want to come on, like I'm there for that energy, because like when you reached out and said like, hey, you know, we definitely need to talk about like the reality of what small content creators, specifically in the beauty space, because I don't know what everybody makes everywhere else.
Yes.
What kind of thing, like the reality of what we do monetarily, like, because I feel like people will see you get PR and they think you've made it, and that you're rich now, and you're like,
but no, I wanted to talk about this because I was on Twitter and I had an exchange with someone, and I felt like a little bit insulted, and I felt the need to clap back to what that person said, and I was like, you know what? I need to take a moment. No need to clap back to this person. No need to be rude. But they said, people like you, I mean, generically, influencers, content creators, people like you do it for the PR and AdSense. And I was like,
yeah.
So you think that I have been doing this for 3 years, hours upon hours, every single damn week for pocket change? That was my main motivation? And it felt quite insulting, but I didn't want to put that person on blast. So I was like, I need to talk about this in a way that is more informative and objective and out of that situation, because there may be a lot of people that have this misconception about creators that are my size or smaller or slightly bigger, that we do make money and that's why we do it, which is incorrect.
Well, I think it's interesting in particular because of the content that I know that you make, that somebody would come to you and be like, you're doing it for the AdSense. It's like, I love doing the art inspired videos. We've collaborated. I've been inspired to do it myself. They're not the money makers.
Yes.
They take so
definitely.
much time and energy, I feel like. And they're usually like something that I really enjoy, but it's also a different situation than what, like, if you wanted to be the like just milk the AdSense, you would make anti-hauls every week. You would make like, there's just certain content that we're not making because it's, I mean, we want views on all of our videos. First of all, if you're a creator, you want people to see your videos. There is absolute sadness when you make a video, you're happy with it, you're proud of it, you've worked your ass off on it, and then it launches and it gets not like the rest of your content. And it's just, so for anybody to come to a creator, I would say especially under the 20,000 mark and say you're doing this for the money, it's very
strange. It's a stretch. Misconception. I think the myth is that you go on YouTube, you put on your little videos, you post a little something on Instagram, and you suddenly start getting companies in your DMs begging you to get their PR, and you start getting a flow of AdSense. And I don't necessarily blame those people for not knowing what goes on behind our doors, but I do feel a way when you start accusing others that you do it for the money when you don't know what their income is just from this stupid ass hobby.
Correct. And like to address what Flora-Lisa said, here's the thing. I think that a lot of people don't think about other platforms that people are on. So when it comes to getting PR, I think people often just forget that YouTube isn't the only spot. There are people who have huge followings on Instagram, huge followings on Twitter, but their YouTube is just not, it just didn't pick up. The people did not come there. For whatever reason, the people on Instagram are on Instagram and they don't want to switch. For whatever reason, the people are on Twitter, they don't want to switch. And they're not like, that's not translating to them getting over to YouTube. So that's a thing, is when you see a creator who like you don't think should be quitting their job to do YouTube, you have to remember that like they may be having large revenue streams from the other platforms that we don't ever even think about. Like they may be getting sponsorships. And I mean, think about how many of these, when we do, you know, hauls and, you know, our not hauls, but our anti-hauls, how many of these collabs are from people I've never heard of?
Yes, exactly.
That's true. Yeah.
Like,
And they might
they're
have
big.
much larger platforms, but I never saw
Mhm.
saw the come up. I didn't see it
Mhm.
happen. I do think that it's also like, I think that also sometimes you get PR because you have like, so like, let's say your Instagram and your YouTube are both like solid and you're doing solid engagement. You're still small, but you're doing solid engagement on both. A brand might reach out to you that's not reaching out to somebody with 10K on YouTube, but they reach out to Mia because all combined, they're like, okay, the numbers are there. But when
Yeah.
somebody is only focused on one platform, then there's not that collaboration of an audience, of the statistics for them to look at. And PR is also very fickle.
Yes.
The brands that choose to send what they choose to send, when they choose to send it, there's no standard way it's done. Tyrion being Tyrion.
Correct.
Like there is absolutely no standard to the industry, whether it's indies or bigger brands. So you can't really judge a creator or a group of creators based on PR because there is no like set standard. Hey Juliet, welcome.
Hi Juliet. I'm insomniac. I have insomnia. That's how I handle it. I don't sleep regular hours anymore. What's even time?
Regular. What's that?
What is a regular hour? But like also, PR isn't a fucking paycheck.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
let's
It doesn't
think
pay
that
my
we-
rent. It doesn't pay my
Yes.
bills. It doesn't keep me well fed. It's just free makeup. And I feel a lot of people think that PR is the company being appreciative of you, like a
Mhm.
gift. From the same person on that Twitter thread, they said something like they should be sending PR to regular consumers to show how much they care about us and appreciate us. And I'm like, baby girl, PR is not a gift. It's not the company caring about
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Don't give
It's
a
not-
shit about me.
They don't give a shit about you. They send you makeup in the idea that you will post about them, and then they will get double or triple that sum from people you refer, from purchases that people make because they trust you if you like their stuff. They're
Yeah.
never going to send it to a regular consumer because it will only see their end of the desk, maybe a couple of friends, but there's not that reach that someone that makes content has. It's not appreciation. It's a business transaction, and it will always be such.
If you even look at Influencer, like any of y'all who do Influencer,
Yeah.
pay attention to when you started getting stuff and what you started getting, because you have to connect your socials to Influencer. So the more like followers that you started getting on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, the more that they started sending you stuff. And then like,
Oh,
because at first you start getting
absolutely.
weird shit, and then eventually you start getting like, I got like Armani before. I've gotten Peter Thomas Roth from them. I haven't fucked with it.
I
in a while,
got
but,
I got like a Tom Ford, like one of the glossy lipstick formulas that I love. I got one from Tom Ford. I just got skincare from Obagi, which I think is fancy as hell. Like, and I'm just like medical grade, like the stuff you get in, I guess, spas or from dermatologists. Like, but it didn't happen right away. Right away, I was getting like ranch dressing and body lotion and like, but I do think that's really the core of it. Is PR is not a gift. It's not appreciation.
Yes.
yeah.
It is in all theoretical ways, it's a business transaction, or in all I think in all ways it's a business transaction in terms of the company is basically, it's like putting out an ad. So
Yes.
you can do ads like on Facebook or Instagram, and you can do different you can do different audience focuses. You can do different themes. Like, this is actually some of the stuff I do for work and I've done in the past. So somebody like Kaleidos, who has sent me PR, like they sent me the whole Space Age highlighter collection months after it originally came out. That's basically saying, you know what? We know their audience size. We can look at their demographics. We're going to invest the cost of this product, which is not that much, and let's see what comes of it. And then they might send it to a different creator who is a different age, a different skin tone, a different style. That's a different ad in some kind of way.
Yes,
now,
exactly.
As creators, we're not promising people content for PR.
Correct.
But naturally, I reach for the highlighters because I have them. Like, I reach for them. Also, hi, Abby. Welcome to the
Abby.
chat.
I know, I saw Abby, but I was going to comment on this right quick and then pull Abby up, because Isabel said content creators on new media lift the veil the way traditional media never did. We grew up on magazines and TV shows that got sent all of this product, but we didn't know how to criticize it. Yeah, like,
we actually didn't even know that. I didn't know for many, many years that the magazines were just getting all this product. I didn't know how to criticize it because I didn't know that there was anything there to criticize.
You know, the first time I understood it, Wayne's World. If y'all will, like, this is how I understood how PR works, as dumb as this is going to sound. But if you remember the scene in Wayne's World where they're like filming their show or whatever, and then he just starts being like, yeah, we're gonna have some Coke. It's the voice of a generation, or Pepsi, or whatever it was. And he was like, everything he picked up, he would like say the product, hold it up, smile, and do something weird. And the whole point of that was showing like everything that you watch. And this was in like the mid 90s, I feel like. But the whole point was to show everything in your life that you watch, that you consume media wise, is advertising to you. And you just didn't know it. And so you didn't get mad. And so watching people currently say really fucked up things about content creators, like, I only trust creators who don't get PR. Like, baby, we have bills and things. Like,
but again, it's not paying our bills. It's not even paying our bills.
So you don't have to trust me, but like, it's not paying me. Like, it's free makeup. I'm not. The affiliate link helps me out, but let me tell you,
if I get
something, I am not going to show it to you. Like, if I don't like it, and I don't mean it in like a funny way, but like, if I hate it, like absolutely hate it, that's different, because I don't like to shit on any business deal that I have with anyone. I don't want to shit on something. If I bought it, I would tell you it sucks. It depends on the brand, but I will tell you if I didn't love something. But I'm not gonna like bring something up and be like, this is the greatest thing ever, and I hate it. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Very funny, but the press versus influencers thing, again, same person, because they were on a roll. They said in the same thread, I'm never going to I don't want to buy from brands that set aside budget for PR to send the influencers. Why should I, as a consumer, incur the cost of them sending you guys free stuff? And I was like, baby girl,
you have no idea how this whole system works.
They really don't. I'm like, take one accounting course. That is a separate budget, babe. Like, the marketing, like, when you have a product, you have the budget for the product, you have the budget for this, you have the marketing is a separate little entity.
Just like you have a company, you have like the marketing, the whole marketing department is a separate budget for the whole company. So if that marketing department is 40% of the company's budget, then guess what? Probably 40% of the cost of a product you got is that same budget, like, if not more. Like, it's just, I think that's the other interesting thing with the beauty world in particular, and YouTube and people having all these criticisms, where I'm like, so you are getting this slight inside take on it, because especially smaller creators that are being honest about like the realities of being a small creator, or even seeing bigger creators do what they do, you get this much information and you run with it without instead taking a moment to look at the entire world of marketing and advertising and realizing, oh, this is just how it works.
Yeah, but it's like, even if let's say it wasn't a separate budget, right?
Yeah.
even if they were not sending PR, they still advertise. There is still a
Yes.
cost to be
Yes.
incurred from that.
Thank
They
you.
advertise via TV, via magazines, via posters on the street. Like, you cannot escape a company having a
No.
budget set aside from advertising. Doesn't matter which type it is. So you're literally saying, well, I'm not going to buy anything ever. I mean, sorry, babe, but that's how marketing works. They will
Yeah.
advertise their product
Yeah.
one way or the other. And blaming
listen,
us, small influencers, just doesn't fix absolutely anything.
Yeah, because
It's
you're not drinking
capitalism.
Starbucks because the coffee's good. I'm so sorry. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, I get you. Listen, their cold drinks are different. I get it. But like the actual hot
Yeah.
coffee is garbage. Okay. You're not drinking it because you think it's good. I remember when Starbucks really hit the map, and it was because of like Britney Spears was walking around with Starbucks.
Yes, product
All the
placement.
celebrities. Yep.
Yes.
And
all these celebrities were suddenly
paparazzi
walking around
and
with
celebrities.
it.
You
Paparazzi
can't
got
tell
it, and they were
me
like,
that you can tell me that Starbucks didn't pay every single one of those people. And honestly, you don't go to Starbucks for the coffee. You go Starbucks for the liquefied cake that is disguised as coffee. Like
Yeah.
those
'Cause
specialty
that's
drinks.
what was popular. It was like the
That's what you
frappuccinos
go-
with the dome
Mhm.
lid and all the whipped cream. And I have
and
a
I have
feeling
a Frappuccino at my own risk, you know?
yes.
I'm going to immediately have, it's going to escape. We'll say
Yes.
that. So I can say guys.
But I do think that it's really interesting. So Tarima like cuts right to the chase, and I completely agree. They said, I'm just gonna say the whole I don't trust people who get PR is like 80% I'm salty. I don't have free makeup and you do. And the reality, and that's the thing that Audra and I talk about a lot on camera and off, where I'm just like, okay, you all need to understand that YouTube is work.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things. You need to understand that content creation is work. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. If you start understanding that that is work, then maybe when somebody gets a palette for free, you'll understand that they've already invested a ton
Hours
of
upon
time
hours.
and energy
and
to
hundreds
get
of
to
dollars,
the point
thousands
of
dollars.
having a brand even notice them. Like, the fact, I think that's the thing, is that I think there's this there's constant undercurrent of like, you're just putting on makeup, you're just taking pictures of yourself, you're just taking selfies, and I'm just like,
No.
then
that's
you do it.
BBS. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
Then you
Exactly.
do it and
BBS,
get this
it's bitter
PR.
bitch syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. like
they-
then you do it.
They don't
ahead.
understand that any piece of content involves at least several hours. So let's say I make a video, right? I just make a random video. Let's say I film for 30 minutes. It takes me, again, 30 minutes again to do my makeup, get ready, 15 minutes to set up the whole area, set up the light because I only have one, set up the camera, etc. So that's already almost an hour of my time gone on prep work and filming. Then you have to edit. If the video is 30 minutes of useful footage, that is maybe 1 hour, 2 hours of editing if I was really clean in the video and I don't need to add a bunch of stuff. If it's a more complex video with more footage, more than 3-4 hours. So I'm spending half a day on one video. I'm not doing. You think I'm doing this for a palette that is $30 when I could pull overtime at my job and make,
like,
good
just
money?
Editing new makeup nonsense probably takes anywhere from 5 to 7 hours for new makeup nonsense.
I was gonna say,
Yes.
I was
All
like,
of
Mia
those
edits
edits in
really,
is
really
not,
quickly. Like, here's the thing: is I just looked
I have
as
a
we were
strategy.
talking. So
I'm
like,
so fast too.
my filming would probably, all that setup and filming and everything would probably be double, and all the editing would probably be double. Like, it's a solid full day for most videos for me if I broke it out like that. I just looked while we were talking. I got the most recent Kaleidos palette release, the Club Nebula. Between the two videos that I did on it, one which was early or like whatever, I made like $15. So I got a free palette and made $15 on two incredibly intensive videos.
You're Jeff
one was a whole
Bezos.
swatch, and I'm like, you're gonna tell me that me getting PR and getting it early or before everyone else and all this as my small creator status is and like they've invested in me as a brand. No, I've made $15
Yeah, like there was
That's the
all of
reality.
that stuff. It was like $35 for new makeup nonsense. So like when people think that I'm getting PR and I'm like, no, and I appreciate PR. All of us
Yes,
do. I
same.
don't like it when any creator just be like, I don't even care about. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, because it makes a difference in what you yourself purchase.
Isabel
Like,
is,
stop
of course, right on the money. And if you're watching closely, you can tell by the end of a makeup nonsense bingo, Audra has moved into a pretty surreal, frankly unsettling space.
Thank you, because like
Same.
y'all, I have had to like really, when I do those videos, I really have to like focus and pay attention to how much like film that I'm doing, how much footage, because
Mhm.
I know if I have more than an hour and a half of footage for that, I'm going to be a miserable ass bitch. And that's going to be my entire next day of editing. So like, all of this work that people put in, that I put in, that Mia puts in, that Emily, that Abby, all of you who are here in the chat who are content
Yeah.
creators, I don't think people really understand that people are doing this
Yes.
obviously because we enjoy it. Obviously, we
They
enjoy
think
it.
Yes.
they think
But
we're
like,
one video away from having like Jeff Bezos type of rich.
thank you.
And I'm like, I make okay, so I'm going to be real on the numbers right now.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Ever since I've maybe, I've just took flight a bit and I have better, bigger views, I make per month, on an average month, I make $20. If it's a really good month, I make $35. Do these people really think that I'm putting in days upon days to make, I don't know, 4 to 5 videos every month for something that doesn't even cover the cost of cat food for 1 month?
You said cat food, not the cat food.
I mean, for real, do you
Yeah.
think that I go and spend my money on my own on makeup that I want and create content and stay on Twitter and stay on Instagram and take pictures and edit in Photoshop and do whatever research I do for art inspired shop my stash and other, more time consuming videos for
Download
uh
shit to like put in as my clips. Like I fucking make
exactly
Yeah.
Bob's Burgers and Archer, and like
for
I'm putting all
what?
this for what?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you just want free makeup. I don't need free makeup. I have a day job. I'm a big ass grown woman. If I want makeup, I have a Sephora. Like, I have malls triangulating my area. I can have my pick of makeup. I'm not doing. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
just felt so insulted that I'm still salty about it days
Be
later.
salty
Oh,
though, because I hate
salty
that.
is a
Like,
way of life because people just don't they don't get it. And I'm just like, again, none of this is complaining about the work we do.
Yes,
Mostly
because I
it's
love it.
criticizing the
yeah, no, we love it.
platform because YouTube is oblique or it's not clear at all about how any of this works in terms of your CPM, the kind of AdSense you get, when you get dinged, when you're not monetized, like all of these things. There's no information. So we're just kind of like
Yes.
scrapping through things. And this goes back to the thing that Audra and I repeat all the time. Having YouTube friends is so helpful because even if they don't have the
Yeah.
information, they can be like, I feel you, or like, try this or do this or try. And like for me, I had this moment. I was talking to Audra earlier. So Teresa is dead mentioned. So she did a video about the Midas and Drench Genesis palette, and she has a code with Midas. She mentioned my affiliate code with Drench, which is the first ever affiliate code I had. And I got a payout today, and this was like a week ago. I made out a little bit over $100 just from my friend mentioning my code. And I'm
Mhm.
telling you this to know that like that, I was like, holy shit. Like I've consistently like done decent with my Drench affiliate, and I really like what Drench does. But like, that's the kind of thing like that. It's not like I woke up to $1,000 affiliate.
Yes.
$100.
Groceries.
And I was just like, yes, groceries. I was like, so that's why giving you real numbers about like the kinds of things that like we as small creators, like I'm like, I could get groceries. I could possibly buy something that I wasn't 100% sure if I was like I wanted, but I didn't need to spend the money. So like, it's just, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go
Sorry,
ahead.
I was gonna say I'm gonna use this to end my sentence because I think a lot of people got fucked up by the 1% creators who have all this shit.
Yes.
Fuck
And that's
it.
the end of the
Yes.
sentence.
Period.
Period. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
got fucked up by seeing you know, the Tatis and the Jeffree Stars and all of these huge beauty creators, the Jaclyn Hills, I think that people got way fucked up because they saw this person with this giant fucking beauty room and closet tours and let's look at my fucking Teslas. And so
Yes,
y'all really thought
exactly.
that like the second someone hit monetization, that it was like money, money, money,
I wish.
money. And it's like, nah,
Yeah.
baby, that's not. It is
I
not. Like
wish.
I
Oh,
do this
the
because I love
1%
it.
and then Marlena.
Yep.
Marlena, like,
And then yeah, Marlena Estelle throwing that out that like, oh well, some people get paid 60% is $60,000 for, and they want the, and I'm like, okay, here's the thing. First of all, you act like these people didn't work and these people didn't deserve the money for all the shit they've done.
yeah.
That like, honestly, like that's back pay, bitch. Like I'm so sorry. Like I'm like that's
And-
back pay, bitch. Like at
Yes.
this point, because y'all don't realize how much money any creator at any point in time, you have to love this. That's why I say like you don't start this because you're like I want to make money and get big. I mean, some people do, but like you really have to like doing this and creating content, because honestly, you are going to put a lot of money into it. You're going to get a better camera, get better lighting, change your setup, do things to have your background look nice, do things for your sound. You're going to do all of this shit if you really like it. And the thing about that is by the time you start getting to where you might get brand deals and things like that, that's your fucking back pay at this point. You probably
Yeah.
quite a bit into, if you've been doing YouTube, like Abby's been doing this so long. Abby is a fantastic creator. It really, like, I know that Abby's happy where they are and they should be happy for where they are because they're amazing, but it really like kind of grinds my gears because their content has been fire as fuck for a really long time. And it just goes to show that like collabs, you have to collab. Like to even get noticed to where you can get noticed by brands, you have to like collab with larger creators. And that's even hard to do because you don't want to look like some weirdo social climber being like, let me climb on your back so that I can get like 5 subscribers, please. But also I want to know you as a person. Can we do both of these things? And like you can't reach out to people saying that. Like I have to like do like really shitty
I'm always like,
Mauro, do you like eggs?
Like
How was your day?
You seem cool. I would like to be your friend. This is what I'm saying in my head. Like, I wish I could say that, but also I have this collaboration idea, and instead of like, I'll email them next week. And I never do.
Yeah, but it's such a minefield because I've had people, and I'm not going to name names, I've had people collab with me. So they're like, I'm a small creator. I love your work. I love you. You know, the usual. And at the time, like a year or so ago, I was less suspicious of people than I am now.
Yeah.
And I
The
collabed
difference
with that.
this last year has been.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And I collabed with that person. They were friendly up until that point, and after we collabed, crickets.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart because I seriously thought that I was making a new friend and that we were getting closer, and then they got subs from me, and it was crickets.
Yep.
And it really does break your heart. And relating to what you mentioned earlier, that some people do start this for the money. I've seen it happen a couple of times. I've seen it happen a lot when Anastasia Beverly Hills started the PR Armageddon Hunger Games. A lot of people that were good at makeup started, using their platforms just to get PR. And then when they would not get PR, their passion would fizzle out, and you would see the accounts die in like a couple of months because they realized that the grind is endless and you are not guaranteed to get anything out of it. And I've also seen a lot of smaller, like minus 100 subs channels that have been at 100 subs for like a year, and they were very sad. They weren't understanding why they weren't growing, and you can't just go to them and tell them the harsh truth that it's oversaturated, and you just posting reviews and first impressions isn't going to cut it anymore. Not in the year of our Lord 2021. You're not you're a sweetheart, but you're not bringing anything new. So if you're doing this just to get big, it's not gonna work it out for you.
Yeah, because like when I collab, like honestly, you can look at whom I've collabed with And that's probably who I'm going to keep my shit with. Like, that's one of the reasons why I even switched my fresh face sesh to a monthly thing, because I don't want people to get tired of me just like the people that I've asked before, like those are going to be the same people, because I already know they're not assholes, they're not users, they're kind, they're people who actually like care about me as a human being, have reached out to me, have put up with me being really weird and awkward, and like
That's your
Also, and that
charm.
you had good conversation with them before.
yes.
Like that's
So I'd
also
much
part of it.
rather ask people that I've already done collaborations with and be like, and just be, hey, you want to collab? There's a few people that if they asked me, I might consider it, but I'm really weird. Like I'm keeping my, and even some of these people I don't know super well, but like I have good vibes from them. We had good conversations on the live stream. We were chill like before and after. So like those are people that I continue to communicate with. But honestly, like I won't go outside of that anymore, because I've begun to realize not even that people are using me, but I just don't like to be surprised by how shitty people are.
Yes, because you also have a responsibility the moment that you send your audience to someone else's
Yes.
channel, you're
Yeah.
basically vouching for their character in a way,
Yeah.
especially because you can't just go on video and be like, yeah, we talked a couple of times and the collab idea was cool. I don't really know them, but let's go with it. You
Right.
really have to talk about the person. So if you're starting a collab and you don't know what to say, it might be a very big red flag that maybe you shouldn't be doing the collab in the first place, because you're sending people that trust you into the unknown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I kind of feel that way too with brands and PR. Like I feel like it's a similar vibe of like, okay, if a new brand or brand I had yet to try reached out to me, I mean, this has happened, or you get PR from a brand. I mean, this happened to me. I got PR from a brand. The next release they did, they put their foot in it, to say nicely. And I was like, well, I like the palette from the previous time, but am I gonna talk about them a lot now? Not really. Do I feel great that I might have sent subscribers over to this brand after the fact? It happened. I couldn't
Yeah,
control it
you
then.
can't control the future.
But I
Yeah.
feel that way about people and about brands, about collabs and brands, where it's just like with the collabs, like you have to like, I want to like your content and have been watching you or engaging with
Yes.
you on Instagram or wherever before just being like, yeah, let's do something. Like, because the times when I have been like, it seems fine, I look back and I'm just like, nah, I shouldn't have done that. Like, even if it didn't go terrible, it was just like, no, that wasn't the right fit. Kind of thing.
I'm a private person. I will remove things from my channel. Like people like I just remove it. I'm like, yeah, nope. And like it's that easy for me, because if like one, we were talking about this a little
As
bit
Isabel
behind the
says.
scenes, but like I'm not into mess. That is not my thing. Right. So since Abby was here, I'm going to use Abby as an example. But let's say like Abby and I have a falling out. And it's not over just like squabble bitch shit. It's like I find out Abby is the worst person in the world. Abby is not the worst person in the world. This is for an example.
This
Anyone
is a fake
listening,
example.
this is a fake example. Abby is fine. And and then I'm like, yeah, fuck that. Like I find out that like just terrible. I'm gonna hide any collab that we've ever had. That's the only notification that you'll ever get. I'm not gonna get up and publicly denounce them, because I don't like mess. Like I don't have like, if people do that, they do that. I don't like mess. I don't want to talk about it. I'm usually still fresh and upset about it. And I just don't want to talk about it. I don't want to drag anybody through the mud. That is not how, like, that doesn't make, I can't do that. And it's because I don't know how to.
That game was so good. We have to play again. We have to play again. I just don't remember my, oh no, Abby.
I bet my goddamn Armani foundation. Oh, the chats that I did, it was you. I'm like, how dare you?
Yeah, no,
like,
we like mess. We don't want to be in mess.
Yes, I love mess. I don't want to be in it. And I don't know how to not be honest. So I just would rather not talk about it, because I don't want to look like I'm dragging somebody. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm
Yeah.
literally like, I don't like them. We had a falling out. I believe this, they believe that, and that's what the fuck went down. And then it just sounds like I'm gossiping. So I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I think Tracy had an interesting question. Is it okay to collab if you like the product but not the company? And I'm guessing I would read this as, is it okay to receive PR rather than collab? Because I wouldn't want to collab. I wouldn't want to like create a full-on palette with a brand I didn't like. Like I'm just
Yeah,
holding
like
up
I
a
wouldn't want to
palette, but
create
like,
a palette with Oprah.
but
I
You know?
think it
PR.
depends. I think it depends though, because there are certain brands which you don't like for very petty reasons, you know.
Yeah.
And then there
Yeah.
are certain brands which you don't like because they're a complete shit show that disregards their customers, their employees, their market, or like
Exactly.
there are certain degrees to not liking. Like I may not like my coworker because he chews with his mouth open, but that's not the same degree of dislike that I have for my coworker that is racist or something, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's degrees to
Like,
everything.
or there may be products like, so let me rephrase. I would collab with Oprah to make a highlighter. Like that, like, but like I
Yes.
wouldn't
Not a
really fuck with any
palette.
like yeah, I'd be like, no, I'm good. I
Yeah.
don't
And I also think it depends on the kind of creator you are. Like, I'm the kind of person, I was vocal from the beginning, for better and for worse, about brands that I trust or don't trust, or
Yeah.
like all of that. So, like, I think for me, in some ways, I might be a little bit more, not necessarily trepidatious, but like, I would have to really I would have to weigh it out and see, like, okay, if I had a criticism about this brand, how long ago was it? Have they adjusted since then? All of that. Or if it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, if it's like, well, this brand does really good lip products, but their eye products aren't good. You want to do a lip collection? Sure. I'm not going to do eyeshadow, that kind of thing.
And then also keep in mind, people's financial situations sometimes put them in places where it's not as easy for them to keep their morals in check. And
Yeah.
I say that because it's very easy to be judgmental, but if somebody's like close to losing their home, close to losing their car, and a brand comes with a collab and a deal that could basically like stave that off and put them in a good position, they might do it. And you can't like I think there's a weird way of like getting on people for what you perceive as their morals. Remember that you only get to see what people allow you to see of them. So, like, if you're sitting there being like, well, I thought Audra was so moral, I'm like, Audra is moral, but Audra also needed to pay for my car. And that's
We are
what
in
I
a
needed to do.
capitalist world. Like, you have to do what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah, it's like,
also,
I don't want to work with this brand, but like, also, what they're offering me would pay my car off, and then I would be okay for quite a bit. I'm probably going to like weigh that out and like maybe talk to my patron and channel members, be like, yo, listen, this is what's happening. I'm a broke bitch. I'm gonna have to do this thing. I'm gonna need y'all to understand.
Yeah. And Venus in Berlin has a good point about PR. So a brand should be able to live with criticism, listen, and learn. Also, brands that are sending PR are usually good about hearing the criticism about like
Yes.
I think there's also this portrayal of like all creators lie about PR and we only say good things. Like I've seen so many creators at different levels be critical about things they've received, not just give them hate, but say like this did apply patchy, but this was beautiful. You know, like this had a great cast to it. This one did, like being able to give like pluses and minuses without just tearing a product down. I feel
like
like
when I talked about the
that's
Collective Cosmetics, I'm like, this is gonna be a drier formula. It's not gonna be the kind of like juicy wet formula that you're used to from like Davina and whatnot. It's not gonna be like that. So you need to prep yourself. I like it for these reasons, but I can understand if you don't want it. But if you were like regular makeup person and you kind of like to be able to build up a shadow, then this is like the shimmers for you, because it's not going to be like bam in your face multi-chrome. It's going to be like a chill like moment. But you know, it also depends on the brand. If it's an indie brand, I'm more careful about shitting on them, because a lot of these brands, it's barely 20 people working on this. So I don't want to do anything unless they're being like outright shitty and shady and horrible. I don't want to do anything that's going to fuck up their bag while they're still working on their formulas and working to get things perfected.
Yeah.
And there's also the thing that even if the creator, and I mean a medium to small, because the bigger creators, they're just paid actors at this point. Even if the smaller creator tries to be quite diplomatic about what they don't like, eventually, if you follow them, you will be able to tell if they're following a script, or if they're seeing things differently than they would say usually.
Yeah.
Not to mention that if they show application, you can only do so much editing to hide how bad a product is. Eventually,
Thank
you
you.
should be able to see with your own two eyes the way it works.
Yes.
Someone said in the chat,
Like with Manny. You remember that with
what?
the Morphe Foundation? And we were
God,
like, and
yeah.
like, I like Manny, but like that was rough. I've never. He's like, no, it's great. And he looks like someone is on the other end of the camera being like, say it's great.
The amount of bigger creators that have distanced themselves with Morphe now,
God,
I'm just like,
Jensen is here.
And another thing is that someone in the chat said, well, what do you do if the creators give it glowing reviews, but the regular consumer doesn't? Well, the regular consumer, people are different, right? They have different skin types, different skin tones, different preferences. For example, I've been historically in love with things that people have called unpigmented, such as the Huda Beauty neon greens, the Beauty Bay pastels palette.
Yeah.
Those have bad reviews, but I like them because they're sheer. I like them exactly for the reasons that they got badly reviewed. I like them because it says neon, but it's actually a pastel type of thing. And that might be the case with every other product. Maybe a tinted moisturizer got a bad review because that person is used to high coverage and they don't like how their skin looks, etc., etc., etc.
Trying to build up coverage when that's not the way tinted moisturizers should be
here's
applied.
A secret. A lot of your favorite beauty content creators actually put their skin type and their favorite foundations in the description box.
I need to start
say
doing
it when
that.
we're reviewing shit. Like they'll tell you, like I have mine in there. How old I am, what type of skin I have, and what some of my like shades are in varying foundations. Because it's easier than like constantly saying it. But like I feel like, and it's funny that Jensen is here because across YouTube, I think people, and Jackie Ina brought this up in their video when they were answering questions about influencers and whatnot that people ask. I feel like so many people think that like once you hit like 50,000 subscribers or whatever, that you're just rich, that you're just living your life. And then they don't understand that a lot of people are still like, depending on what their life is like, wherever they are, it's still not enough money to pay all of their bills. Like it might pay for the makeup that they want to purchase that month. It might pay the rent. Like it might pay but it doesn't pay everything enough for them to quit. So
it might pay for an editor so they can still work their full-time job, but get videos up. Like you might be like, oh, well, they have an editor. It's like, yeah, but they also are working another job or are doing other content creation. And so that allows them to do that. It's like the way some parents pay for daycare and they're not making any money. They're going and working and all that money is going towards daycare. You can be making money even with 50,000, subscribers, and you're putting it back into the channel or back into your life, but that doesn't mean you're getting rich.
Yes, exactly.
I hate that mentality where people think that like you hit a subscriber count and suddenly you just have all the money, and it's like, I don't. And then this is why you see so much pushback when somebody on Twitter or wherever starts talking about ad blockers. This is why you see that pushback, because we're like, seriously, like you would rather risk your phone and all of this stuff to not watch an ad. That, and I get everybody's money situation is different, but if you have the money to actually pay for YouTube Premium and you're just doing an ad blocker, like you're honestly you're not helping your favorite creators. Like that's what I would say. You are actually not helping your favorite creators, because I wouldn't do that because I have creators I want to support, right? And I'm not going to be shitty to anybody. I'm just telling you this is why people push back, because that's part of your revenue. So if somebody has an ad blocker, you're not getting any of the revenue from that. And if 10 million people watched your video with an ad blocker, like,
but that's also 10 million pieces. Here's the thing is I'm more angry at YouTube and the system in place that I am at ad blockers or assholes that use ad blockers, because
I'm mad at both at the same time.
Well, the thing is that I know assholes exist and I'm never going to change them. And for some reason, that feels like a bigger thing that I'm willing to just dismiss than the overall. I think because the system is something that all of us creators could really work. And I think also because I've been on the internet for decades and I've seen the ad blocker assholes from age like 15 or earlier. So like, YouTube needs to be more clear as how it works, how you can increase your AdSense, all of that. And I think that the fight against ad blockers is valid, but I just don't want to fight against assholes on the internet. So I don't want to get on Twitter and talk about it. I'm just like, I'm good.
Oh, I don't fight with them, but I've seen people who kind of
or promote other people to like fight,
and they kind of get
fight
upset,
with
people
them.
will tell them like, please don't use these, because like I guess I feel like you wouldn't go out to eat and then just like not tip. Hopefully you would. But
there's a lot of people that do. That's what I'm saying. I've given up on like fighting those. I would rather everyone not have to live on tips. Yeah. And I also think there's a lot of people that have never communicated with small creators. And Deja, this is a really good point. I also think a lot of people have the starving artist wet dream and really want people to suffer for their art, otherwise it isn't valid.
This needs to be framed, used as a cover for for my Twitter or something. It's such a good point. Like they have this view of people being authentic and truthful only if they're doing it out of pocket, and they're the same people. They're the same people that see you drawing on the bus or whatever, and they tell you, can't you make me a portrait, but for free, because it's just drawing. I shouldn't have to pay you. We are providing a service, and you wouldn't go and tell your plumber to give you pipe recommendations for free. And you wouldn't go and ask someone at the grocery store to give you stuff for free. But people feel so entitled to other people's art and content, be it writing, be it drawing, tattoo work, as if we're blessed for them consuming our content. They don't see any value, any true monetary value in it, because we don't deserve to eat. We only need to be entertaining, like little circus monkeys.
No food, only
I've seen that with tattoo artists. They run into that too.
Yeah,
like they
exactly.
literally run into people like seeing them somewhere, be like, "Oh, hey, you do tattoos?
Hey, Tina,
you draw me this thing," and it's like, no, they can't draw you that thing. If you want them to draw it, you're going to need to pay the $50 deposit just for them to draw it. Like, you can't.
We romanticize toxic. There are so many toxic things that are romanticized. It's an extreme. Yeah, like creative endeavors are not valued. And I don't know if they've ever been valued, but I feel like it's just like, it's just this, it's just that. It's like, no, that's 30 minutes of my time. That's 3 hours of my time. That's paint and canvas or whatever. That is worth something.
I will say it again. Just because a small content creator is buying things with their own money doesn't mean they're not lying to you.
Yes, exactly.
You need to understand that there are a lot of people who will lie to you about a product to get the views, to get people saying hi, and to get on a PR list so that they can stop spending as much money. So there are people who, and we've talked about this before, but like there are stores that had to change their Ulta and
thank
Sephora
you, Tracy, by the way.
Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate you. Who had to change their return policies because of the way people were acting on beauty YouTube, going in and buying $300 worth of stuff and then returning $275 of it. Can you imagine new product coming up and having all of these people come into your store and buy all this shit, and literally all of them within 2 weeks are returning the majority of it?
That is such a
Like,
USA thing, though. Because here
yes.
you
Yeah.
open it, you use it, you cannot return it. Like I had to return a bronzer because I bought it thinking it was a highlighter because it was improperly labeled. The girl at the counter triple, quadruple checked that the seal was intact, that I didn't put my grimy fingers in it. Like they would not
Yeah.
accept makeup that I've tried, like even swatched.
Yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
sad thing is they will accept it here, but like they just throw it
Yeah.
away.
Yikes.
They don't
Also,
resell it.
Awful.
my general perspective on this question about when people ask which helps creators more, YouTube Premium or ads, get YouTube Premium. It's literally, even when I had no money, that's what I was spending money on. It's
Yeah, I do
for
too. I
me,
was
broke
broke
I
as fuck
watch
and
a
I had
lot of
YouTube
YouTube,
Premium.
and it makes me more eager to support the people that I want to watch because I hate watching ads. And then I never have to worry about did I skip through, did I this, did I that. Like I just it's not even just the support part, it's the making being on YouTube both on my phone and on my
Yeah.
desktop that much more enjoyable. So
We used to commute a lot and
yeah.
having it on premium so that I didn't, because like I can't listen to I already
Yes.
hate driving. First of all, I hate driving. And I used to commute quite a bit. And I would prefer to listen to YouTube because there were no commercials, because I hate the way that you'll be listening to a song and everything's great. And then the commercial comes screaming at you and it just fucks me up. So
Yeah.
YouTube and paying for premium made it so that I don't have to do that. I can listen to all of my favorite content creators. If I need to see them at some later date, I can go rewatch it because it's in my history. But
Yeah.
like that allowed me to watch so much more content when I was driving with like no commercials. And on top of that, y'all, YouTube just pops commercials in regardless. I could put 3
Yeah.
ads in and then y'all will
Yeah.
be telling me like, oh, there's 7 ads in this. I'm like, I cannot dictate how they do this. None of us can. Like even if we
Exactly.
put 2 in because it's a 7, 8 minute video, like like they can, when I drop that ad in, I don't know if they're gonna put 1 ad there, like in that spot,
Yes.
or if they're gonna
Yeah.
put 3 ads in this one spot. We have no clue. Like they don't really tell you how many ads they're gonna put. Like in your mind, you put the thing there and you think what ad, and then you go to the next one, you're like think 2 ads. They can do it however the hell they want to. As your video gets more and more successful, they can
They'll
continue
add
adding
more ads. Also, I was not shaming or guilting anybody to get YouTube Premium if you can't
Correct.
afford it or if you don't want to. For me, if it's the question of what's the better support
Yes.
for me, and you can afford YouTube Premium, that's why I recommend it. But if
Yeah.
your support is watching the videos, leaving comments,
Yeah.
saying things to me on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever, we love it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like there's no wrong way to support. But if you're
Correct.
asking, then that's why I
Yeah.
say YouTube
Yeah, because y'all's
Premium.
comments mean so much more than you really
Yes.
think that it does.
Yeah,
Y'all, because I've tested this out a
agreed.
couple of times, content creator information. I've actually tested this out a couple of times on a video where, like, let's say I have some comments, I reply to some stuff, and then I wait a few hours, then reply to some more stuff. As soon as I reply to more stuff, within 2 hours, it suddenly has a significantly more views. So, like, every
Yeah.
time I've done that, where I've been like, okay, well, I'll respond to some stuff tomorrow. I'll go in tomorrow and respond, and then it's like bumped again. So like y'all, that's why I tell you every time you go, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm commenting. Y'all do an amazing job. Comment as much as you want, because like, and when
Yes.
y'all talk to each other, like that's the kind of stuff I love to see, because
It's
even if
engagement.
yes, and
Yeah.
even if I don't always get to talk, because I've honestly been taking the past couple of months backing off of my social media. It's been amazing to do so, but YouTube is not the place to go. Like content creators are not making a shit ton of money. There are some who are, and you know what? There are people who have 5,000 subscribers who make a boatload of money off of like affiliate links and all of that good stuff. And good for them. They should earn some money, but everybody isn't the same. So
Yeah.
just always keep that in mind, that we're not like, you know, where people are commenting about their affiliate links when they're doing that kind of stuff. We're really trying to just be like, hey, if you go shopping, or if you're gonna go shopping, if you could use my link, if you were gonna go to Ulta, if you could use this link, that would really be helpful. Like you don't have to, but it'd be great. And so like where a lot of us are awkward about it, I know I am, but like trying to find ways to like supplement all of the things that we do here, so that we can bring in the stuff that not only you want, but we want too.
More comment, like YouTube counts comments as engagement. They like engagement. So if you comment as you're watching, if that's a style of commenting that feels more natural to you, I love it. Most of us love it. Like, so definitely don't feel bad about it. And I think in general, I think my thing with like supporting creators and all of it is like, do what feels best for you.
Yes.
But we're just here to give you more information. So like the stuff about, you know, PR, the stuff about like, we didn't even get into sponsorships. Like sponsorships has not been something that
still talk about that if Mia's still awake, but if Mia wants to go sleep.
Because I feel like that's one area that like I would love to break into. Like PR is great, but making actual money even better. Pretty much. So I just think that there's so much to explore, and you can write 10 different comments rather than one long one. Yeah. Like theoretically it's better because it's like the more comments, like what Audra was saying. So if when I get when I'm better about replying to comments on videos, I see that it continues to help push the views.
It's the same for Instagram as well.
Yeah.
If you reply within the first hour on Instagram, the engagement, the algorithm picks it up and the post starts to soar. It's like it's a really good way to connect with your audience in time, as well as, you know, get your stuff to be seen by people that actually follow you, because Instagram's algorithm is fucking trash.
Oh my God.
Sorry, y'all. We were at a slightly different time tonight.
But yeah,
Tina, we were so excited about your sponsorships.
Congratulations,
like,
Tina.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, like Tracy saying you prefer sponsorship because I know we all stand. That's the thing that's funny too, is people will talk shit about people getting PR all the while they're doing sponsorships, some of them undisclosed. But these people will talk all kinds of shipping, like, oh, I don't trust anybody who gets PR because they're not being honest. And here we're going to talk about this fucking game, like whatever it is. Here's the thing. I want you to have your sponsorships. I want you to have money. I want you to like make it. I want everybody to like be successful and have a good time. And whether they want to do this full time or not, it is what it is. But please understand that doing one or the other doesn't mean someone is better. It doesn't mean that they're kinder or that they're telling the truth. Bills do need to get paid. Like, always remember that.
But you know it's a bit of a, I wouldn't say misogynistic, but rather anti-beauty space type of thing, because gaming YouTubers get sponsored all of the fucking time. Essayist YouTubers get sponsored all of the goddamn fucking time. Nobody says anything. The moment someone gets sponsored for having a feminine hobby and putting makeup on their face, suddenly they get sponsored for being vain and for not producing quality content. Like, why is someone's review of a CPU any more or any less valuable than me reviewing, I don't know, whichever palette? People still spend money on it. It doesn't matter if it's $300 or $30. It's still money. I'm still helping people make an informed purchase. So it's like, and even with sponsorship, like as far as personal preference goes, I kind of like it when people are sponsored by something that isn't a brand. So it's like HelloFresh, or because then they're getting the bag regardless.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like it too. I like it when it's not beauty in the beauty space. Just because I think my favorite what was my favorite HelloFresh stuff, because I have an old video of HelloFresh. It's awful, but anyways, I think in Home Chef too. But I think I could only do that if they were like, hey, we will send you this very specific meals that you just stuff in the oven. I don't even know if that'll work for me, but we'll see, because my oven doesn't know me. But like,
but your microwave, it might be microwave friendly depending on what they do. They might have ones that are like microwave, because I know Freshly
was good.
Yeah,
Freshly was goodish.
But yeah, it's interesting because like podcasts have tons of sponsorships, and I even think so. Like I went on a search recently for a new microphone setup, and so I was just like watching a couple, not even a lot. There's like 2 different tech channels that I checked out, and I noticed that like they would both be reviewing a product that was sent to them, and they were paid to do that review, and yet I wasn't like. Nah, meh, meh, meh. Like I've never been that kind of viewer, but I was just like, okay, like they're giving me the information. I guess also it's because like I didn't know a lot about the industry, like what I was looking at, that I was like, I'm just gonna listen and take what I can take out of it, and not like judge the fact that they were getting paid to do that. Because I was just like, I don't know, what do I know? If I don't like it after I buy it, like.
There was actually a huge scandal, I think, with NVIDIA regarding some type of component. My guy was telling me about it, because the company would sponsor and they would send them the components for review, and the channels, of course, depend on these types of PR, because you can't go around paying $100,000 every time NVIDIA comes out with something new, whatever.
Yeah.
And the problem was that NVIDIA would give these people talking points and tests to run that would make their products look good. But the moment that a channel decided to go a bit slightly beyond, they tried to drop the sponsorship, and people were up in arms about it, because they realized that their favorite tech YouTubers were doing the talking points that only the company wanted them to. So it's like, it's the same thing everywhere. Why are only us doing makeup being criticized for lying about performance, when you know what, you can run tests on a graphics card and muddle with the test so that it looks good. You apply an eyeshadow on your eye, you can immediately tell if it's patchy or not.
Yeah. And then Allie actually brought up something.
Ooh.
This is why. So let me tell you, I think one of the reasons that so many, like even content creators that have money now and are doing fairly well, have to pretend they don't. Like if you go look at like Emma Chamberlain for a long time, had to pretend they hadn't like just become a fucking millionaire. You know, like they had to. So you have content creators who are doing well, buying new cars, taking care of their homes, like all of this stuff, and have to pretend like they're not doing well. Because here's the thing: the second that they really start getting people who are kind of on the fence to turn against them, because they're like, look at, see, this is why I don't like it when they make it. Look at snobs. Look at them. I don't trust them anymore because I made them rich. Like, so it's very interesting to me, because I'm like,
I just love that
vanity and humble
Very
policing
bizarre.
online, to the point where you're forcing people to pretend that they're not doing well. So it's like people will move and don't even want to do a house tour anymore. You're like, no, I can't show you, because.
And then if they're really well off, they start cosplaying as someone relatable and just saying the most out of pocket shit. They're like, oh, hello, fellow lower middle class people. I totally do not have a huge house with a big closet. I'm just like you folks.
I'm so
just like you. I have one toilet in my house.
It's LARPing as poor people, and I would rather have someone be completely honest and say, "Look, guys, I made it. I may be a bit out of touch because I have all of these wonderful things. I'm sitting on a pile of shoes like smog on its gold." Like, I would rather that honesty than them trying, as I said, to LARP as a poor person using a costume that they got off Wish or the equivalent thereof, you know?
Oh, that's also my favorite. Spending $500 on clothes from Wish or from these other brands.
And then they throw it all away.
And then I'm also like, you're not poor because you're spending $500.
Thank you.
Or
$1,000.
$1,000.
Who does a $500 haul unless they have $500 lying around?
Like extra. Like I just, and I also think that in general, house tours are fucking weird.
Tattoo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Random chunks of money. Tattoo or travel post-vaccine.
Yeah, I'm not spending it on makeup. I'm so sorry.
or random clothes or whatever. Like, no, that's not where it's going. But I do think. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that I actually stole that LARP joke because someone on Facebook once said that Romania LARPs as a civilized country and our costume is bought off Wish. So now I apply that joke every fucking where because it's too good.
That's perfect. That is perfect. Like,
Yeah, I mean, so it's like we have to. You have like all of us collectively. One, I had to get myself out of the bitter bitch syndrome because it's so easy to do
Yes.
that. It's so easy to see somebody who has all these things, who has the beauty room, and be angry, right? I cannot trust an influencer for one reason or another, but I'm still going to be like, well, they hustled, they got what they got. Like, what am I going to do? I can't get mad at it. Like, I can't get angry. And I had to really just say, like, remove the bitterness and the jealousy and the anger and see if you still feel this way. And 9 times out of 10, once I removed that shit, I was like, no, I don't, just be a bitter ass bitch. I'm just mad.
Yeah,
I'm just mad.
it's resurrected anger because a lot of people don't realize that they're not angry at that person. They're angry at the situation in their life that had them not have the same type of abundance or good luck. Like, for example, in college, I used to be so mad when my colleagues would say, oh, we have homework to do, oh, it's going to be so hard, I have no time for myself, and they would just have homework, money sent from their parents. Meanwhile, I was there busting my ass with freelancing and a day job. And with age and wisdom comes the fact that I wasn't really angry at them for having it good. I was angry at the fact that I couldn't for various reasons.
Yeah.
This is why therapy is good, kids.
Right?
Everyone should have therapy.
At
least
it's like I think part of the problem comes from the language of YouTube creators constantly saying, I only got X opportunity because of you guys, or I'm only here because of you. And it opens up people to judge you where's there with what we've gotten, with what we've given you. And it's like it is partly you though,
Yeah, it is
and
true.
I think because I can't not say that. I can't act like I just magically got here on my own. Like, I can't.
I think that's a big part of it, because it's like there's this whole people create their channels and they build themselves up on the support of their viewers. And so there's this weird wave that like gets crested where it's like, yes, we love you, you're doing so amazing. And then all of a sudden it's like, nope, too much, dumb bitch, die. Like, why do you have so much money? Like, I don't know what it is, but it's like there's like support. Now you're flaunting it. Fuck off. Like, just and it's like, I think about that so often because there is that parasocial language and relationship, and I think it makes people a lot more possessive over the people that they follow. And so when these people are all of a sudden flaunting their wealth in a way that feels tacky to certain viewers, or they've brought out a product and people buy it and then they're like, this is shit, why this isn't what they showed on their channel. Like, yes, exactly, they sound like bitter exes. You wouldn't have that if it wasn't for me.
But it is a bit true though, because we do put in the work and the time, but we are not posting in a void. We post to be perceived and to perceive in turn, to have this back and forth that may end up in monetary gain, but mostly ends up in, the wonderful relationships that you do end up having with people that watch you and the people that you watch in turn. But it is true in a sense that those people would not have, even if they put in the work. Like, they could put in the work, they could buy the equipment. If they have all of their videos on private, they still wouldn't have that YouTube income. So it's just, it's a very sensitive topic. It's a lot of feelings and a lot less logic when it comes to why people turn on others so quickly. Like, for example, Reddit. Reddit is a shit show. I'm a possum, and I love the trash that is there because there's this combo of incredibly useful information, insightful commentary,
Yes.
and on the other hand, you have Jacqueline Hill is a fucking bitch, and I hate her. So it's like this combo
And they're
of
like
things.
post after post, like just
Yes.
they sandwich up against each other in certain spaces.
Yes, and it's like they turn on people so easily. They have they have a favorite, and their favorites are cyclical. This week it's Smoky Glow. Smoky Glow says something that may have been, completely innocuous. The whole subreddit turns against her. Same with Hannah Louise Poston. Hannah Louise was their favorite for months. Suddenly, it turned. Then they had Tati as their favorite for months. Then it turned. They do this periodically. And I have realized that the people that do this, that turn so quickly, are the people that don't view you as entirely human and fallible.
Correct.
And then they're very easy to demonize you. And you're just their flavor of the week for entertainment.
There I said it moment is like Jackie Aina would be like when people always ask, like, I don't understand why they don't have more subscribers, because she's a Black successful woman and nobody likes to see that shit. That's why. And she did not hide that she had money. She didn't hide it. She was like, I got money. Like,
from pretty early on, like from pretty
is,
like, and I don't blame her either, because I feel like once I started getting
in the
that
fucking military, which is like shit money, BT, it's not great money. You have to like really make it up there in the U.S. military. It's not like you can't just be like down here. You have to like start hitting master sergeant and above to start like being okay with the money that you make, because otherwise it's just grunt money and it's hard to live off of. It's hard to raise a family off of. Like a lot of military families live in poverty for a very long period of time, and people don't realize it because like military housing is quote unquote free. But like she paid her dues, and I can tell you like, and I've said this before, if I suddenly like blew up to where I had enough money to pay my rent and all like my utilities, pay off my car, and like my biggest flex is gonna be like, bitches, I got a 2-bedroom apartment. It would have a whole room to film, flex. Like
they just hate seeing women being successful.
Yeah,
they just do. People just hate. There's this humility culture where women are not allowed to know how beautiful they are. They're not allowed to say how smart they are. They're not allowed to demand their value, demand their worth, because they're not humble enough. It's very centered in Puritan Christian culture, where you have to be pious and humble in front of God, and not flaunt your gifts or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, I appreciated that, because here's the thing, whether it was your thing or not, and you're like, that might be too bougie for me and I'm not really interested, that's fine. You can go do your business. But the reality of it is she was doing nothing different than her white female counterparts, and yet they were getting praised.
Yes.
And it's like the second that Jackie did something just similar, like, oh, look at my badass bag, it was like, oh, you think you're something now. And you're like, yes, she does.
When I think about, like, when I think about
she deserved it.
Exactly. And then I think about somebody like Jacqueline Schill, who was like kind of, I don't like necessarily using this word, but iconic, and like their background, their home setting, their what's in my bag. And it's like, and there's a lot of other white creators doing this. And then it's like, Jackie is like, yes, I am fucking rich, and I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to love it. And I'm like, great, you're living literally your best life. And like,
we just unlocked why I don't do hauls. I am a Black person, perceived as a Black female. Yeah. So I don't like to do hauls because I don't want to hear all the bullshit. I don't want somebody coming to me being like, fucking bitch.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be that nice either. It wouldn't be said that nice, but that's what's safe for a lot of those words
are blocked, because if you're going to be racist, you better be fucking creative.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, and I just think, like, I've talked about this. I did a whole Get Ready With Me where I'm like, what does humility serve you? Like, when people are telling, especially women in femmes, to be humble, I'm like, what, you want us to lessen ourselves, reduce ourselves? For
It
who?
doesn't benefit. It doesn't benefit women. It benefits the people that can profit off of women that do not know their value and do not know their worth. And it
Exactly.
profits capitalism, because if people don't know their worth or they don't know their market value, they cannot ask. I hate that as well. But it's like, it's true. It benefits
Yeah.
the people that have nothing to offer, or the people that offer way less than what that person deserves,
Yeah.
and feel entitled to that person's time, body, content, whatever else.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, I feel like if people knew, like, especially when I am in my like up modes, when I am on fire, I'll film like, get ready with me. And sometimes I film 2 videos after this. I film 3 videos. I have gone through like all of my batteries and I'm like, bitch ass. And then I go through and edit all of this stuff. And it's like, okay, do you really think like all the makeup that I buy is stuff I actually wanted to try? Every last bit of it. Like you aren't ready because I got that good Apple foundation and we gonna see. But like,
Ooh.
I know.
And I think this is also another part of like the kind of beauty world and like that I've struggled with, where it's like I do genuinely like trying a lot of new things. I like shopping, I like buying makeup, and then there is this kind of like minimalist makeup world that has kind of come up, and I generally speaking have no criticisms towards any of those creators, but I found that it was like, especially as they got richer, it gave them the ability to be a minimalist because you could afford just buying Kier Weiss cream blushes, or just buying a Chantecaille powder, or like it just, there is a level of kind of classism with it, where I also saw that happening within the creator world. And then it was like, oh, well, if you're buying so much stuff, like, I don't want to see that, or I don't trust you, or like, you know, that's not my aesthetic. And that's fine. You don't have to watch somebody that's not your aesthetic. But if people are genuinely excited about things they're buying or PR they've gotten or whatever, let them be excited about it, rather than being like, oh my God, that's so many blushes you've gotten in the last 2 months. It's just like,
and that falls in that declutter bullshit where people get like, if you're decluttering a lot, like you really need to consider like your makeup buying. I'm like, you need to mind your fucking business. How about you mind your business? I mind my business, and neither our business shall meet. Because
and you don't
how
have to watch
declutters
me.
is none of your fucking business. People could have shit that they've accumulated for 3 years and then they finally declutter it. And you're like, look at them with all this guy's makeup, like fucking moron. And you're like,
why do I never see these comments on people that collect, I don't know, Magic the Gathering figurines?
thank you.
Why
Exactly.
don't I see this topic with people that collect, I don't know,
Vinyl
manga
albums.
they don't read,
Sneakers,
or sneakers,
video games, or
where's the waste crowd there? Because it seems to me that you are mad that I am engaging in a vain hobby that you see as wasteful, and you're mad about the plastic in my vanity, but you're not mad in the tons of plastic in other people's houses, because they're hobbies that you see as not vain.
Yeah.
or they're just not valid of criticism because they're men, basically.
Like I've seen a nasty comment. I mean, not a nasty comment, but an uncalled for comment on Michelle Wong's decluttering video. And it was the top comment saying like, oh, I wish influencers didn't promote so much waste. Oh, this is so wasteful. You bought all of this makeup and now you're decluttering. And I'm like, first of all, mind your business. Second of all, she can buy whatever the hell she wants with her money. Third of all, consider that for every palette that she bought and she reviewed, you would have people that realize, oh, that palette is not for me, and they didn't buy it because of her. So in the end,
exactly.
balance in all things. Balance in all things. And it's like, who cares that Michelle Wong has 1,000 palettes? It's her life. It's her stuff. Why are you not over there criticizing people that have I don't know, 1,000 other collectibles. It's okay,
Yeah, 'cause,
but
like,
it's okay because Michelle Wong is too much of a classy lady to tell them to fuck off.
But also, she will tell them to fuck off. She
tell
will
them.
tell. But also,
Go ahead.
this goes back to something that I feel like Audra and I keep talking about, where it's like, but you're still watching this. You're gonna
Yes.
sit there and leave a comment, but you're still watching the declutters. Why are you watching them if you're so upset about like the beauty world and declutter habits and all of that? If you really didn't want to see those on YouTube to stop influencers from influencing people in this negative way, stop giving them the views. Because all
And
you're
you can't
doing
win the
is giving
declutter wars,
engagement.
It's a
You
form of
cannot win the declutter
performativity.
wars. You
Yeah.
either didn't declutter enough or you decluttered too much. And you're like, I'm sorry. Like somebody will come in somebody's comments when they're decluttering and they'll be like, oh, I really thought you were going to declutter more than that. I'm like, I'm sorry you didn't get your fix for your kink today. I didn't realize I was providing for that. We don't kink shame here. But if I had known that that's what you wanted, you could have cash at me some money and I would have made sure that I decluttered more than
Yes.
enough for you to get your jollies. I ain't mad. But if you want me to declutter like extra stuff, do you need me to do it slowly? Like, let me know. Cash
Like,
at me the
this
money.
is
Let me know.
contractual
gentle.
monetary relationship, sir.
It's a big form of performativity, and I see this a lot in a lot of activist circles where they feel that they're changing the world by being up in other people's business, but they don't do the work in their own lives. You go commenting on people or harassing people on Twitter, but you don't have all of your ducks in order in your own life. Why are you preaching to people about waste when you don't have your stuff in order?
Plus, listen, I have said this multiple times, and you will always hear me saying this, like, I don't care if something is recyclable because it's not. FYI, it's not. If you have watched any of the recent documentaries on recyclables, most of the stuff is actually not recyclable. They just put that fucking thing on there. Like aluminum, yeah, but your plastics, no.
Yes.
The majority of it is
far more
not
complex.
recyclable. It's very complex. I am not going to talk about that virtually ever on my channel. I'm not going to talk about whether or not it's recyclable and how good, like, because I know that it's not getting recycled. So like, that's not a point of interest for me until I know that they have fixed the actual system of recycling, because like we used to send it to China. China said no, rightfully so. And now there's just billions and billions of gallons of fucking plastic all over the world, basically, that they don't know what to do with. So like, oh, thank you, Jeff.
Not to mention that, to go back to my previous example of Michelle's collection and people just being nasty in her comments.
Yes.
Michelle, in all of her lifetime as a YouTuber and beyond, will still not produce as much waste as a company does in 1 hour.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
This is
you.
what
we're
go
a drop
back
in
to
the
a lot.
ocean.
Yeah. So like when it
Exactly.
comes to like creating content and like what really happens behind the scenes, like there are some people who talk about, I just refuse. I refuse to talk about the environmental impact, because there's literally all of us right here. There's 102 of us, if I can even do math, with the three of us plus y'all. We still collectively today could not create enough trash that would like, we just can't. Corporate waste is
we could be
intense.
the most wasteful humans for
Yes.
decades and still not touch the amount of waste that corporations make in a year. Also, just to let you know, because I saw it mentioned, this is not to ruin anyone's joy about cardboard pallets. If your cardboard pallet has a mirror in it, not recyclable.
Fact.
Because mirrors, I mean, you can cut it off and then throw away the mirror, but like that's the thing, is that it's so much more complex than what
the pizza box it's not recyclable, because once the pizza actually gets into once the pizza grease gets into the cardboard, it's contaminated and it can no longer be recycled. So it's like, what?
Ali put it so well. Companies have gaslit the masses into taking the onus for their creations.
Yes. They have tricked us into believing. Oh, welcome to the Spooky Bay family. Thank you, Tracy. But yeah, they've tricked us into believing. Like, did you ever stop and think about things where they're like, oh, don't run your water while you're brushing your teeth, right? These companies run water 24/7. 24/7 they are
Yes.
running water. And they're literally asking
Yeah.
you to not do it for like 3 minutes, which for some people, a lot of neurodivergent people, keeping the water running reminds them of the task that they are doing. So they're not
Yeah.
doing it to be wasteful. But literally these companies can't. But like when you come to someone's comments and you have some shit to say about being in their bag, like get out. You because
Yeah.
I used to have a little bit of a mindset where I was like, well, I just don't like to see somebody financially hurt. You know what? It's not my business. If I don't want them to financially hurt themselves, I'm just gonna not
Yes.
watch.
Yeah.
I'm going to hurt. Like that's how I will hurt them. I will just not watch their channel.
That's the
If I think
thing.
it's hurting them, I'm going to stop watching. I'm not going to continue to engage in their channel, and like I'm not going to go to some forum and talk about how so and so spending so much money and look how broke they are, because the issue with that is if you saw somebody buy some shit, like if you saw me do a haul today and then 2 days later you saw me asking, hey, if anybody has anything to give, I have to get Bo's teeth clean, it's $300 something, you're like, oh, see, that's what happens when you spend all that money like that. And I'm like, okay, this was a surprise. I wouldn't have spent this money if I had known that this needed to get done.
Yes,
And I'm just
exactly.
asking if anybody could help. That's why I say stay out of everybody else's pocket, because you don't know what
Yes.
people's lives are like. You don't know where they get their money from. It's frankly none of your business. And it's like it's more enjoyable when you don't think that
Yes.
way. Like as soon as I stopped doing that to creators, I was like, okay, I'm having a good time now.
I mean, honestly, they compare like medical expenses with a $30 pallet, and it's like you more easily have readily available 1 month a $30 to for pocket change and to buy
Yeah.
whatever the hell you want, and then next month a 300 medical bill for your dog hits you. You can't produce $300 as easy as you would get 30. It's
Yeah.
simple
And like
math.
the owner
Yeah.
at the end of the day, what these corporations need to do, and it's not just for beauty, it's for everything that needs to get like recycled, and we need to figure out ways to reuse it and dispose of it properly. The reality is they actually need to make it to where when you are done with it, it's just easily disposed and taken care of. It
Yes.
should not be on me to do it. And don't feel guilty, Toya, because
No.
a lot of people, like I use plastic all the time, plastic and paper plates. I have ADHD. If I did it, there's the amount of times I wouldn't eat because I didn't want to dirty a dish because I knew I was going to have to like do this whole chain of events to do dishes. I wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't eat. I'd be like, yeah, I don't want to do that because I don't want to make food.
Yeah.
And I would just sit there starving.
I also even think this is a tricky, slippery slope because Stampin' Porn said, unless you pay my bills, you don't get to say what I do with my money. The problem is that with YouTubers,
Yeah.
the money that viewers watching are theoretically paying the YouTuber. So that's one of the biggest like parasocial problems I find is that because your views, unless outside of sponsorships or like affiliate links, just based on views, if your views are giving this person money to pay their rent and pay and buy makeup, and it makes you feel like you have a say in how they can spend their money. But the reality is that only the person who has the money should get a say in how they spend their money.
Yeah.
Like,
and going way the hell back, this is one of the reasons that I consistently and constantly say, don't build your channel completely around new releases.
Yeah.
Because it can hurt you financially.
Wasn't there like a channel who got in debt and she got really honest about being like tens of thousands in dollars in debt because of beauty YouTube?
Yes. Because
I feel like there's more people than we know about.
There's more people than that. And the problem with it is that you will have spiked views every time you have new releases. This is a fact. You will have high views if you have a new release, no matter what size your channel is. If you're just like showing off something that you just got, that just came out, you're gonna have views. I'm not gonna lie there. The problem lies though in your content in between. And if you go from like having 600 views on your new release to having 150 views on your Get Ready With Me. It is demoralizing in a lot of ways. And so you're like, okay, well, I'll just do like this thing. So you keep chasing this view count. And every time like it steadily increases, you're like, ooh, I have this new thing. So you go from 600 views to 1200 views, but everything you do in between is significantly less. Yeah. This is why I say, like, buy stuff that you want. Even if it's a new release, buy it. You want it. You want to enjoy it. You can afford to buy it. But try not to build your beauty channel on new releases to the point where, like, T, you can't be saying that because we Black. We don't even count. We don't count for that. We were in the shadow. It wasn't going to happen because I did the same thing. It wasn't going to happen for me. Like,
you know, you said it in a funny way, but I'm too white to laugh at this joke. Just gonna settle with a very awkward face.
I love your self-awareness. You're just like, I'm too white to laugh.
You weren't ready for that. You weren't
ready. Different rules for us. Yeah.
So it's just like it helps you, but like again, you have to have plans for what you're gonna do in between, and realize you have to be okay with this new release video having a lot of views. And then everything else, maybe not having those views, but also having a consistent level of views across the board for that content. Like, I have to be okay that my new makeup nonsense, it's going to have more views than anything else on my channel. You know, so I'm okay with that. I'm like, I like doing this video. It's a good time. I hate editing it. It makes me want to sometimes I'm just like, no. Yes. I'm like, I'm finished with everything. I would rather eat dog shit right now. It's so horrible. But I don't eat the dog shit and I finish editing the video. But I'm also okay with the fact that like my other videos may just be here. They just may be here.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
You are a guest.
This is what happens to me with my art-inspired shop my stash videos versus my other videos. So if I do an anti-haul, if I do a critical type of video, if I do a commentary type of video, this point in my channel life, it gets around 900, maybe 800, 1,000 views if it's really good. My art-inspired shop my stash videos historically get half that. So in a sense, YouTube is like encouraging me. It's like, be a messy bitch. Stop doing what you love.
Yes.
Continue being a messy bitch for clout. So So I had to like make the conscious decision that I will continue making the content that I want to make at the detriment of my channel growth.
Same.
Because YouTube sees that every 3-4 videos, this bitch has a video that performs only half as well as the rest. And I had to also realize that I am doing these types of videos, which I love doing, at the detriment of view count, of AdSense money, and everything else.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a conscious decision. YouTube makes you take some choices.
Yeah,
like,
I love making.
Go ahead. I'm going to tinkle right quick.
I love making my palette creation videos, whether they're like art inspired or duping the vibes, or just like being like, I'm like something I have in my head, which I may finally do, we'll see, is like a grungy pastel palette. Like I like doing those kind of palette buildings, like playing with textures, getting your hands dirty, all of that stuff. But consistently they don't get the views. Consistently, I know, like unless I dupe the vibes of a new palette before it actually gets launched. Because even when I did a big swatch comparison video for the Club Nebula palette, the Kaleidos palette, because I was like, it was limited edition, didn't know if it was coming back or not. And I'm glad I did it, but it was also like a lot of work. In the end, I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to do this again. But it's like, unless I do just like, I remember I did the Alyssa Edwards ABH palette right when it was first revealed. And that one did well. But like, generally speaking, if I'm just playing, if I have a random theme, it's just like, nah. And there's people that love it, but comparatively, it's not the same like kind of views as a decent or really good video from me. So it's hard because I like want to do them and get better at the production, get better at the audio, the lighting, all of this stuff that's like challenges for the overhead filming. But then I'm like, but it's actively lowering, like it's actively causing this dip
Yes.
in my videos. So it's a weird balance of like doing what you love and also doing what helps your channel grow.
Two things that I wanted to touch on. So the first one is regarding the duping palettes or creating your own palettes. I really enjoy doing those as well, but the weird side effect of those is that it forces me to hoard a bit, because maybe some singles I would not keep, like boring browns that I have 1,000 times over, but I also have depotted, like maybe I would not keep those. But then I think, what if I want to do a duping palette video and then I don't have those?
You're
and that's like a
right.
side effect.
You're
And the second
absolutely
thing-
right there.
And the second thing is that someone mentioned putting stuff beyond the paywall, and
Yeah.
that was a thing that can be considered, right? But it's, for example, for me personally, it's not the choice that I want to make, because I don't want my art inspired videos to be behind a paywall. I want to share those for free with everyone, regardless if I get AdSense of it, regardless if I get 100 views. That's still 100 people that learned something new about a piece of art. So for me, that's a work of labor. That's a work of joy. I don't want to put that behind a paywall where I could get more profits, but less people would see it. My interest in that is to have people see it and partake in the joy that is talking about art with me.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
it depends on content and depends on creator. Like everyone has different needs and different goals out of the stuff that they create.
Yeah, like I think I can do like my Terror Tuesday maybe once a month, but I kind of had to figure out how to do it with newer movies, because I began to realize like my working memory is hot garbage. So I literally have to get ready whilst I'm watching the movie and talk about, so it would be a little bit of a different form of a Terror Tuesday. It'd be more me like reacting to the movie and be like, oh, like because like that's easier. Bye Tarima.
Oh,
Take care, Tarima. Take care. Bye.
That's my own fault. I forgot to move the back down. But I would definitely do that if, you know, I had the ability to like kind of fix it. And there's content that I've done where like I'm starting a series. Listen, I moved celestial gutter. Sorry, I moved the feeder back into its place. It looks like they've gone to bed for the night, but in the morning they'll be back to battle. Especially when I put new food in, because it's gonna be new.
Don't say it too loud. New food.
I know, new food. But yeah, I mean, there's stuff that I have to like, series that I've started where I have to like work out how I can make it better before I do it again. So like there's things that like I'll start and I'm like, well, I don't think that this was good enough, or I think that I didn't do this right, or I didn't do that and I need to fix this. So some of that is just like me trying to figure it out. And I think the unfortunate side effect is if the way that YouTube pays continue, because I feel like their cut, I feel like it should be a sliding scale. I honestly feel like the smaller creators should not have 30% of their income taken by YouTube. This is just my opinion. Don't get me. But
speaking of, you guys may not be aware since you're US based, but nowadays for foreign content creators, I had to fill like a WD form. So apparently now that if you are not in the US, but the base of your viewership is in the US, you have to fill out a tax form, and the US government will take taxes from you. And I was like, what the fuck are you taking taxes from me when I'm a continent away?
Yeah,
fuck off.
that's true. Yeah, we have to file taxes for everything, but the fact that you have to do it and you're not based in the US is fucked.
Yeah, I was like, I was looking at this form and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? How do Americans exist having to do these things on their own? It's so strange.
It's very strange. Yes.
and again, I'm not saying that they should get like they shouldn't get a cut because they've created a platform. I've done all the work, but okay. And so I feel like yes, they should definitely, they should get their cut. But I feel like the 30% standard across the board isn't. I don't think that that's good. I think that that is harmful to smaller creators. And while currently YouTube doesn't see that as a big deal, I think we're all watching large amounts of 1%ers lose interest in YouTube, stop doing YouTube, move to other platforms. You have people moving to TikTok, people moving to Twitch, just moving to other platforms that allow them more freedom than they have on YouTube. And that can be very dangerous for YouTube. So like,
well, even Jackie Ina talked about that. Like one of her more recent update videos, it wasn't like, oh, I'm leaving YouTube, but it's like, hey, I'm also doing TikTok. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Like, so I think that's the other thing is I think there are a lot of creators, especially the bigger ones, that aren't specifically stepping away from YouTube, but they're not actively sinking all of their energy into YouTube.
It is a high energy platform. Like it is a huge time sink as opposed to TikTok or Instagram, where it's
Twitch,
still
you just pop on.
Yeah,
it's still time.
Play a game, and I'm like I literally if I finished this and I felt like doing it, I would just like go live and I would play a video game for however long I want to play a video game, chat back and forth with folks, and then when I was done, I'm done, and then I like roll out. And I don't have I can play music or whatever, and if it's copyrighted music, they just mute it for me. They just mute that section.
Yes.
Automatically. So it's like while you're live, we can all listen to whatever music that we want to listen to and have a good time.
Did you hear?
It's like,
did you hear about Twitch muting Metallica while they were doing a concert on Twitch? They were singing their own songs and they got muted, and you would have like these hardcore guitar riffs, and suddenly it changes to like one of those electro pop soulless types of songs.
Who lived through Napster and like Metallica and all of that, but like living through the Napster era and then the way Metallica flowed.
Karma.
Like the karma. It was just like, this is too good.
Like they caused this. Because I've had it do because if you don't know this, I'm a weirdo about Far Cry 5. I play the fuck out of Far Cry 5. There are times when it mutes it, but it's the game and it's the music in the game. And I'm like,
I think they have a clever algorithm to go about it, where they try to mute the audio stream that comes from the game and not the audio stream that comes from your mic, because there are two separate audio streams.
Yeah, it's not as clever yet, but I'm only an affiliate, not a partner.
Yes, that was the definition of chef's kiss. Like
it really was. They're like, remember, you don't like it, even though they're a brand who came up on mixtapes, but okay, bros.
But I also think it's interesting to see people expanding on the different platforms they're using. It makes me wonder if like hidden sponsorships or like things like that are going to be easier. Like if it's going to be more.
I 100% think that the KVD Apple Foundation is a hidden sponsorship on a
TikTok?
lot of these TikToks, because they hit the same goddamn talking points, the same angles, the same type of application. Like the math ain't mathin'. There are too many synchronicities at play for it to be a coincidence.
Thank you.
Same with that Maybelline mascara. Like, are you telling me that like I started seeing about
the one
that
that's
Sky
been
High
sold
mascara?
out.
I started seeing about it overnight. Like there is no way, if it would be organic, you would see a gradual pickup, like a video here, a video there.
A couple months ago, Audra, the Sky High. Okay. No, because it's been out of stock in like every drugstore and Ulta I've been in. In
it's
the like Brooklyn, New York.
Hidden sponsorship. 100%.
And that's the thing that makes me kind of angry when people are critiquing smaller creators, and there are plenty of smaller creators doing shitty things. There are plenty of smaller creators that are doing hidden sponsorships or are sucking up
smaller creators are people can be shitty. Sorry that I interrupted you.
No, you're exactly right. But I just think it's interesting because I think there's also ways for these bigger creators that have gotten critiqued on YouTube to kind of sidestep YouTube and go do the
Yes.
same things on other platforms and somehow get away with it, because it's either a new audience that hasn't caught on yet or people are naive to it. Oh,
I mean,
thank you,
it's a lot of 15 and 16-year-olds, and I don't say this in a derogatory way. I say this as in
Yeah.
they're young, that didn't catch. God, English is hard. The YouTube sponsorship ad apocalypse. So they don't have yet the social media language and the social media skill sets to identify when something is being sold to them directly.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Allie says, I hate how the youngins discovered CeraVe healing ointment. Now they're definitely undisclosed sponsorships.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not, but it's not only that they don't know the law, it's that they just don't understand how manipulative people can be.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not the
They
people that
don't
are
know when these
posting.
companies are like,
It's
oh,
the
we're
people
that
gonna
are
pay
watching.
you to like put this on here, like it's fine. So they don't tell that, like, if you are 15, 16 years old, 17 years old, and a company reaches out to you and says, you have 500,000 followers on TikTok, we want to pay you $25,000 to just like have this on your face when you're doing this and make sure you talk about these things, right? They do that. So
I mean, and they're like very young. They have no idea that. I mean, they don't even know how much they're worth as an influencer. As Torn said, they don't know the law,
Yeah.
and they don't even know how insidious it actually is. Like if someone at 15 came up to me and said, "I want you to talk about this stupid mascara for $200,000 or whatever, or like $2,000." Sorry.
Tracy. Thank
Oh,
you
good
so
night, Tracy.
much.
Good night. Wow.
Sleep well.
Yeah. I would be like, yeah, sure, fine. Like,
Yeah.
what could happen? Like, it wouldn't get into my head like the whole I have a responsibility to my viewers, but what about like
Yeah.
they're 15-year-olds.
Yeah, and that's why
Or
I
you
get
wouldn't
angry at
always
people
think.
who get mad at them for these things.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
they're 15. Like what?
And
like,
I can't
when was
get
15, that had
mad.
no sense.
And I can't get mad at the people watching these TikToks either, because they're not necessarily the same people that went through the YouTube ad apocalypse. They don't know what is going on.
Thank you.
And that's why the 15, 16-year-olds can be both the creators and the viewers.
Yes.
So there's manipulation on both sides of the coin, because for the creators, they're saying, use this product, we'll pay you $2,000. Don't mention it's an ad. Like, just make sure you mention this in the caption, but without saying you need to disclose. And then there are people watching, they're like, oh, that setting spray looks amazing, when they've put like a glow filter on after they used it. Like, I'm going to go buy it. So they've manipulated both the creator and the customer. And this was a comment early on. These sponsorships or PR are far, far, far cheaper than any kind of print or TV ads. So even
we're hiring celebrities, like
even like the whole people get paid $60,000. Even if somebody got paid $60,000 to make a TikTok, that would still be cheaper than to make a 1-minute ad, or a 30-second ad. And it's like you have creators that are the actor, the editor, the makeup artist, the hair artist. They're doing all of these roles that companies used to have to pay big productions to do. So it's not going anywhere. All of these like influencer advertising, sponsorships, PR, it's not going anywhere. Like, no matter how much people hate it. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I just feel like just tying it back to the beginning and everything, and I'm probably going to have to go because this little shit has to go TT. But I love him so much, but like
life with children.
Like, I think, thank you, this child. But like, I think that if people just kind of understood that, yes, we're human beings, but your favorite celebrities did this for years and years and years and years, and
Yes.
you said
Yes.
nothing. You said nothing when Beyonce showed up in a Faria commercial. We all knew that they were not dyeing
Yes.
their hair with L'Oreal Faria. We
And
said
now you're
nothing
mad
when-
at us for pocket change.
They
You're mad at
had
us
a
for
wig
pocket
on like
change.
this, talking about my Faria hair color, and I'm just
Thank
like,
you. Like nobody,
No.
like first of all, like we're like, I love you, Beyonce, and I'm pretty sure that that's like really good hair that you've paid for. So I just don't think that that was dyed with,
which is
Faria.
totally
That's
cool.
okay.
Like, pay for
I'll-
beautiful
like, yeah,
hair.
good for
I would
her.
love to do that in the future. Yeah, but like, it's not Faria dyed. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So like we have to get used to it, but don't be afraid to call people out, to ask them the question.
yeah.
Because like if people don't disclose to you that they're doing an ad, like there's nothing wrong with you asking them if they did.
That's a really good point.
Because, like,
leave a comment
Yeah.
and just be like, "Hey, is this an ad with KVD? Is this an ad with Faria? Is this like
Mhm.
I recognize some of this vocabulary. Is this like
And if the lady doth protest too much, or the sir, or the lady, you have your answer.
yeah,
Yeah, because
'Cause they
literally,
could
if
say-
I did
be like,
something and
"No."
I forgot to put hashtag
Mhm.
ad or hashtag gifted, all you really got to do is be like, "Hey, did you say you got this in PR? Hashtag gifted."
Yeah.
It's like it's
I'd
not
probably
that
be
hard to
like,
do that.
"Oh shit, I totally forgot. Thank you for that reminder." Like,
Yeah, I'm just gonna edit it and throw in my hashtag gifted and thank you for the reminder, because
Yeah.
I don't want to be, like not telling the truth. It's just it doesn't. People are going to get paid for what they do. Period.
Yeah.
Marketing is a thing. It's always been a thing. There's a reason that everybody suddenly wants a Birkin bag, even though nobody can really afford a Birkin bag.
everyone
everybody
wants a
talks about Birkin
Telfar
bags.
bag. Like,
For what? And I've seen
Yeah.
them. They're ugly. I'm so sorry. That's an ugly bag. I don't even like purses, but these Birkins are ugly. Moving on. So but it's a status symbol. And we need to stop.
Yeah.
Like, I personally have stopped getting so mad at quote unquote flex culture, because I think that there's a difference between somebody outwardly flexing at you and somebody just being excited about something. And I think we need to get better at distinguishing the difference. Like, if somebody's happy that they're able to move into a larger home because they needed the space, because like things started going well for their YouTube and they needed an entire room to film in and like all this stuff, and they're able to do that, that's not them flexing on you. Do you know what I mean? Fucking getting an entire island during the pandemic to celebrate your 40th birthday and telling everybody about it on Twitter, that's fucking flexing. You could have gone and had a good time. I ain't gonna say shit, but it's the fact that you had to tell everybody that you did this thing. That's the difference. I think that is the difference that you have to see. Like, excitement and like just not
I also
the point.
just- I think flex culture has been here forever. I don't think it's ever
always
going
been there.
away.
No.
It's been celebrities. It's what Isabel's saying. The difference is that audiences have a direct line to new media content creators in a way that we
Yes.
never did with Beyonce or Kate Moss. We knew
Yes.
Beyonce was flexing the fuck out of everything with us, which is why why people loved her and still do. But
There's
then,
not that element of relatability, because you knew celebrities were celebrities and they were untouchable and that you could never
Yes.
reach that level. So there was no amount of envy. But with creators, especially smaller creators that start having, good luck and getting good things, they're too close to home. They're
yes.
the Joneses. They're not Beyonce living in wherever Beyonce lives,
Yes.
untouchable on her pedestal. They're your next door neighbor that, why does this bitch have something that I don't?
Yeah,
Correct.
exactly. How dare they move out of my neighborhood? And it's just
Basically, yeah.
It's like, okay, but they put in the work. So I feel like this is
So
one
we're
of those
definitely doing
conversations
this
we could.
again.
Yeah,
Like,
I was like, we could
we
come
could talk
back
about
to
everything.
because
Yes.
there's so
I
much good
literally
stuff
don't
here.
care. Like, I feel like it's just nice for the three of us to hang out and
Thank
chat.
you.
Like,
Yes.
It's so good. I really need to do this more often.
we
We
do.
really
because
do.
I feel like we have the same views in a positive, not negative way. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not like having the same views for the sake of having them. It's like having them because we've critically thought about this.
Yes.
And I would
Yes.
definitely say to anybody watching and anybody who has watched it on the replay, thank you for making it the whole 2 hours.
Yeah.
But like, I think one of the things that people need to keep in mind is that we are human beings.
Yes.
We are actual everyday people we're small content creators. We are actual everyday people trying to live our best lives, the best that we can.
And having fun with our hobby.
Yes, having a good time with
Yes.
our hobbies. So like if you have something nasty to say to somebody, like, just like hit backspace.
Go
And just,
tell
like,
your
go to another
friend.
video.
Don't put it in a comment. Like, go tell your
Yes.
friend. Also, make sure you are following Mia on
Thank
Instagram.
Thank you.
Mia's
and on
information
YouTube.
is in the description box. Their Instagram. I think I
Yes.
forgot to put Twitter in, which I'll do that later. But your Instagram and your channel is listed
Thank
in the
you.
description box below. We will definitely do this again. Thank you.
Yes,
for
it's been a
listening,
joy
lovely
to be
people.
here. Thank you.
Loved having you.
Thank you,
Yay.
guys.
All right, y'all. Until next time, XOXO.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.